Good morning and welcome to the instructional video for this particular 2017 Chausson 727 GA. This is a customer's vehicle that is going to be collecting tomorrow. So for that particular customer, please note that we have valeted inside, but we haven't done outside yet, and that will be done before collection, but I just want to get this video over to you as early as possible. This instructional video is to give you a good overview of how all the services work. We'll do all the outside first and then we'll move to the inside. We would ask that you also please use the manuals that are in the vehicle, which I'll show you, which will give you more detailed explanations of what we discuss or what I go through today. Should you need though any clarification on any of the services, don't hesitate to give one of the team a ring here at Emm-Bee. So first of all, let's move to the keys. So the top button is to open everything, the middle button is to lock everything, and then the bottom button is just to open the habitation door. Please bear in mind that on this particular model it has central locking and does have a deadlock system. So it is imperative that you keep your keys with you at all times. If you leave your keys in the vehicle and then close the door, it will deadlock and lock the keys in the vehicle. So just keep them on a carabiner on your person. So first of all, undoing the bonnet. So we get the engine key and we go to the left, number one, and then to the right, and then that will allow you to access the bonnet. Under the bonnet, there's not much that you'll need to know, but this is your positive terminal should you need to jump start. So that's the red wire, and your negative is on this metal loop on your engine. So that's the black wire if you need to jump start it. This vehicle is fitted with an alarm, and this is the sensor for the alarm for the bonnet. As we move round, we have engine oil here, your dipstick, and then washer fluids just on the left hand side of the bonnet. As we move around the vehicle, first of all that we come to is the gas locker, and I'll show you whilst we're here how the locks work. Basically the handle twists, and as you can see that pulls the door tight. We then get the locker key, turn the key, and then push it in so it's flush. That is now locked. To unlock, we just reverse the process. So to unlock, key in, turn to release it, and then we just twist the handle, and that allows us to open the locker. So this will take 2 gas bottles, which can be supplied at Emm-Bee. You will then need a pigtail or a gas pipe, which then goes into the regulator. To fit the gas pipe, we just screw onto the top of the regulator, which is normal righty-tighty, and then the pigtail will then connect into the bottle, which is an opposite thread. Please note, and it's very important, that as per this sticker, gas off at the bottle when you drive, please. Yeah, no gas should be on when you're driving. Did you notice there is also vents? This isn't a dry locker, so please leave those open, don't cover them up, because if you do have a gas leak, it will drain out of the vehicle. This particular vehicle did previously have an auto gas or gas low system fitted, which is for refillable gas, but that is now not operational, so it will just sit there should you ever need it in the future. As we move around to the side of the vehicle, we have our fridge vents. Again, please excuse the vehicle being dirty, it is going to be cleaned, but the fridge vents in normal usage you shouldn't have anything to do with them, but we would ask that you don't jet wash around these areas, because you can see it goes straight into the back of the vehicle. Also, if you're going to be using this in severe winter weather or putting it away in storage for winter, you might want to consider winter covers, which will stop driving rain going into the vehicle. The next locker that we have is for your toilet cassette. Again, it has a lock on it to keep it secure, and it's simply, we lift the handle and pull the cassette out. The cassette is on wheels, so it can be wheeled. Sorry, it's difficult to do it with one hand. So it can be wheeled to the sluice for emptying. To empty, all we do is lift the spout, undo the cap, and then we can empty that into the sluice. As you can see on the cap, there is a measuring indicators should you want to use blue fluid or toilet chemical. Nowadays a lot of people use sachets which just go straight down the toilet itself, but we'd recommend you don't put toilet fluid or chemical down the toilet because you have a chance of staining the toilet bowl. So the procedure for the cassette is simple. We will go to the sluice, empty the toilet cassette, put a bit of water in, and then give it a swish around. Always do it that way, and then empty it again. And then you'll need to either put the blue fluid with it, dilute it with some water, or like I say, use the sachets which don't need any dilution. Make sure that the toilet cassette is straight and flat when it goes back in the locker, and that this little handle is located and locked in. As we move further down the vehicle, you'll see there's a sticker here which indicates that we have a waste pipe. So as you can see here, this is a grey pipe because it's our grey waste, which is our soapy or foodie water. Here's we have a handle, push to close and pull to open. So basically what you'll do is on the site, you will then drive over a grid, and then you can empty your wastewater into there. This here is just another little storage locker. Will be useful for hookup cables or barbecue, etc. On this particular vehicle there is a Fiamma awning fitted. There is an awning pole somewhere, I've seen it. An awning pole which is here, which then locates into the eye on the right hand side of the awning, as so. We then bend the handle, and then we can wind the awning out. Basically what we do is we wind it out just as far as we need to reach it, no further, just so you can reach up. And in the front of the box that comes out, there is a leg on either end. We drop the legs, extend them, so then they take the weight of the awning. Never extend the awning fully out without the legs down, because it'll put too much load on the hinges. So basically wind it out just as far as you can to reach it, drop both legs down, and then you can put the legs at an angle and then wind it so you are walking, you can in essence walk the awning out to its full extension. I would show you today, but it is too windy. The rules with awnings are simple. If it is windy, do not use your awning. It is in essence a big sail. You can peg it down, because there are holes in the feet for you to peg it down, but would recommend in wind, a big gust will just take it over the van and cause you a lot of damage. The same with rain. If it's hard rain, we would recommend you don't use the awning, but if it's light drizzle you can, but I would probably just lower one leg so then any water drains off. And if there is any pooling on top of the awning, please put your awning away as soon as possible. There is an awning light on the side of this vehicle which is controlled from a button inside, which I'll show you. We then come to the garage. Again, opens the same way as the other locks, and all the doors have catches which will hold them. Please be careful though, they are big doors, so if there is a strong gust, there is a chance that it could blow and hit you. So it's all in this particular garage. There are mats for the cab, carpets. You also have this new television fitted, so a box for your telly, and all your manuals. Again, a lot of homework to do. We recommend you read them all. You also have a 240 volt and a 12 volt power socket, and also a heating vent. Please again just note that if I close off this heating vent here, it will force heat further down the vehicle, so that's how you can balance where the heat distribution is. Also remember, your 12 volt socket will work off your leisure battery, but your 240 socket will only work when you are plugged into mains. This vehicle also has a rafter, and that's because of the size of the awning. That basically sits in between the arms of the awning that come out, just to give it some more stability. This vehicle is fitted with a tow bar, which has 13-pin modern electrics. It also has parking sensors and then also a rear camera up at the top. It is already got the fixing rails should you want a bike rack fitted. We probably shouldn't need it due to this with the size of the garage in this vehicle. And as you can see, there are 3 accesses to the garage. As we're going around, I'm just going to show you there's a little inspection hole there which just shows they are heating pipes. And in the heating pipes, don't worry if you see any slits in them. Slits in the heating pipes are to allow to dissipate heat. And then just up at the top we have your tyre inflation kit, some glue for if you need to re-pump the tyre up, and obviously your towing eye. So that's it for the garage area. So again, this particular vehicle does have quite a high spec. So it is fitted with a normal terrestrial aerial, as you can see, which is the small plate on the top. And as we look on the top, you'll also see it has a dome, which is a Road Pro, I think, full satellite system, which I'll show you how that works inside. This here is your flue, or the vent for your Truma boiler and heating system. So just be careful, it will get hot, and make sure it's not covered up. And then we have a your socket where you plug in for your mains, and then this is the your main water system, and also your electrics. So first of all, your electrics, we have trip switches, your fuses, and then your battery charger. This button does need to be in when you're hooked up, which will allow power to go to the battery. You also have your water tank. So to fill up the water, we basically take the cap off, get a hose pipe in and fill it up. We'll know when it's full because it will start to overflow. There is access for cleaning and also to allow the water tank to breathe when it's in storage. And then also now let's talk about how we drain the vehicle. So what you will normally do is you will get to a site and fill up full with water. This tank will hold 110 litres. When you are leaving site, you will then want to drain down the fresh water. You'll obviously want to drain down the grey water, but you want to drain down the fresh because you don't want to carry, say, 80 litres with you. You only want to carry 20 litres. So due to the weight, and due to the fact that you might want to use the toilet or have a brew on the way home. This has quite an easy system where basically to go to minimum level, which is 20 litres, all we do is, I don't know if you can just see it, flick this little lever up, run the pump inside, and that will pump water out till 20 litres. For us to be able to fill the water up though, we need to have that down, which tells us that we are on maximum level. So that will allow me to fill the tank up. To drain the water, so say you're not going to be using it for a while or you put it away for winter, you'll need to drain the whole tank, and we do that by underneath here. You can see there's a blue pipe with a white 15mm plumber's push fit. Basically we just pull that off and that will drain the whole freshwater tank, and just next to it, that is where the 20 litre drain is that I've just shown you, the minimum level. So pretty easy, they're next to each other. And then finally on the outside of the vehicle we have filling up your diesel. So we have diesel, and the passenger needs to be open, and AdBlue. Diesel pretty simple, we're all familiar with it. AdBlue you may not be, but AdBlue is an additive which is basically just to assist with emissions. Your vehicle will tell you when the AdBlue needs to be refilled, and please make sure you do so. You can buy it at any petrol station. But if you do let the AdBlue go down to 0, it won't let you start the engine. So when it warns you, just make sure it's filled up. So that's it for the outside. Let's now move to the inside. So as we move to the inside, first of all we have the habitation door. With this being a top spec welcome model, it comes with the bin in the habitation door, and it also has blackout blind, and it is central locking. On the inside as well we also have a fly screen Again, be careful. If this is open and the door slams shut, it will break the fly screen. And that's a bit of a good point to make, is that everything in the vehicle is designed to be as strong but as light as possible. So I would ask that you just do take care with things. Don't be heavy-handed. And if something feels like it needs to be forced, just give us a ring and we can give you some advice. So I'm going to start from the back of the vehicle, and then we'll move to the front. All of this is, a lot of it's pretty self-explanatory. But first of all, the blinds are magnetised, so they just have magnets that will hold, so you can keep the blinds up. And then every window and every roof light has fly screens and blackout blinds that clip together, and the windows are operated just by pushing the button and turning the latches. Please make sure that these are secured when you're either not using the vehicle or when you're putting it away for storage. Above there's a 12-volt fan light which will circulate air in or out, which comes on the top spec welcome model, and there's obviously storage lockers in the back. The beds themselves are pretty self-explanatory, and there's light switches around and about the vehicle. I'm not going to show you where all the light switches are, you will find those. The wardrobes are underneath the beds here, and we can lift the whole bed section up, which will allow access. So you've got hanging rail, a good sized wardrobe, and don't worry about these bits of wood there for just extra pieces. Let's put them in. And then on this side there is another wardrobe, again, that does the same, with some really useful drawers for underwear or shoes. Let's just see what's underneath this hatch here, and then we've shown you everything. So that is just an access hatch for us, for servicing, etc. We might as well show you all hatches, and then you know what they relate to. So again, just another access hatch which can maybe use for storage. And in fact, that's the... I'm just going to pause it because that's what that piece of wood is for that I found under there. So yes, you have storage under that step. And then underneath the bottom step is also some more storage, and another hatch, which again just gives us access. The shower is pretty self-explanatory. It has a strap which will need to be on when you are travelling. There is obviously a roof light in the shower, and also there is a hanging rail for wet towels, etc. And again, this is just on a magnet that will go together, and then we just bring the strap round for when we're travelling. This, and the same goes for the door, for the dividing door. It has a strap just for travelling. Moving into the toilet area, again all pretty self-explanatory. There is a light just for this area, and there is toiletry cupboards above and below the sink. So the toilet itself, basically we can turn the toilet to get ourselves comfortable. We have a handle here which then opens what we call the blade. So if we turn the handle, it opens a hatch in the bottom of the toilet which allows access to the cassette. For you to be able to take the cassette out, this blade needs to be closed, so make sure the handle's closed. Then we have a flush, which is the blue button, and then this little cassette symbol will light up when the toilet is full. The cassette's full. So the procedure for the toilet is pretty simple. It is open the blade, do your business, flush the toilet, and then close the blade, so then it keeps the smells in. Right, let's carry on into the kitchen. So the kitchen, again, pretty self-explanatory. We've got a 3-ring gas hob, the sink, some storage units up above, and then again another window. Underneath we have an oven and grill. Turn it right to go to the grill and left to go to the oven, and there is a light and an electric piezo ignition. We have a drawer here for your knives and forks, and then another drawer underneath the oven, and everything's all soft close. There is also some more storage here, and again along with a 240 volt socket. And again you can see at the bottom there's some heating vents. Right, let's move to the TV. So the TV is on. Basically how we have the telly power is via a little, no, let's just see if we can get it out to see. Is by a button there, which is the main power, and then obviously we can turn it on using the TV remote. Simply we need to have the telly on, and as you can see there is a power 240 volt and a 12 volt, which is already powered up. And then we have here, you can see the satellite controller. So basically all I did was turned it on using the power at the top. The satellite selection is already on the Astra 2, which is the satellite that we want. And it tells me, and I can change that here, but that's the one we're going to stick on. And it tells me that we're yellow because we've locked onto that satellite. It is an automatic satellite system, so it will just lock on itself. So all I did was turn the telly on, turn the satellite on, and it found a signal itself. And then it's just pretty simple like a normal TV. And it does have as well a DVD player on the back. So that's how we use the telly. You can also use the aerial as well just by selecting it on the actual telly itself, but you'll just use the satellite system. You can adjust the telly angle at the back here, and it's obviously on a, it can twist as well. When you are travelling you need to make sure that this little knob here is located to lock the telly in. Yep, so it's locked in like that, so it doesn't twist. We also need to make sure that when we slide it, we don't catch any of the wires. And then we need to hear a click, yeah, a firm click. To release the telly, we just push this little, this in, which will release it. So, but for traveling, you need to hear the click. And let's just make sure that telly's off. Yeah, so that telly's now turned off. Please be careful as well in that you need to make sure that the telly's fully off and the satellite is off, otherwise you will drain the battery. This vehicle is fitted with a solar panel, and as you can see it is flashing, so it is telling us that we are getting some power in. For the solar panel you don't need to do anything, just leave it at work and try and keep the panel clean. And you've also as well got another 12 volt socket there. This connection is just for you to connect to the normal aerial. As we showed from outside, there's a satellite system and a normal aerial in this van. Right, let's move to the fridge. I'll just put the TV controller in the kitchen drawer for the moment. So your fridge. Fridge has a separate freezer compartment and obviously the main fridge compartment. If you are putting it away in storage or not using it for a while, please make sure that the fridge is empty, cleaned, and leave the door slightly open so it doesn't start to smell. For the fridge to work, all we do is press power, and then we have A. And basically how this fridge works is it is what we call a three-way automatic. By that I mean that it will work on mains, which is 240 volts, which is your electric hookup. It will work on gas when you are wild camping, and it will also work on 12 volt, which is your leisure battery. But it will only work on 12 volt when the engine is running, as in when you're driving. So the simplest way to do it is mains for when you're on hookup, when you're wild camping you're on gas, and when you're driving you're on 12 volt. But if we just make sure it's on A, this vehicle will automatically choose it for you. So as you can see, it's just flashing at the minute with an error, and the reason for that error is it's tried to find mains but I'm not plugged in, It's tried to find gas, but I've got no gas on the vehicle at the moment, and therefore it's come up an error because I can't, because it won't go into 12 volt because the engine's not running. If I started the engine now, it would then work. Then we have, you can adjust the temperature, and then to power off, we just power off. So you can have it on A, or you can do it manually. I would recommend just click it on A, then you don't need to worry, it will just do its own thing for you. Okay, now to what most people worry about the most, which is the control panel and the heating and hot water. But in reality, it's pretty simple. So first of all, the control panel. This is your main power button, or your master. This allows you to turn off the 12 volt system. But please be aware, you'll need to keep this on if you want the solar panel to work. So, because the solar panel will then allow it to charge the leisure battery. But make sure the lights and everything else is off. This here is your lights. The next one is your pump. You can hear it start up. This button here is for your awning light, so the light outside. We then have the button here, which as you can see corresponds to this one here, which is your leisure battery, which is fine. This one here is your engine battery, which again is fine. This button here, which is a tank, is your fresh water. So I've just got a bit of fresh water in. And then your wastewater, once your wastewater is full, this button will light up. And then the final button here is your for the brightness of this screen. So if we hold it, we can make this screen brighter or dimmer, just so it doesn't affect you when you're sleeping. So just to recap, we have your master switch or your power, your lights, the pump, the awning light, leisure battery, engine battery, fresh water, and your waste alert here, and the brightness of the screen. Also, once this button lights up, that just tells me that I'm hooked up. So when I'm hooked up, I can see that I'm getting power. And for the reason we have that indicator is if you come and something's clicked off or you've lost power, it might not be anything to do with the vehicle. It might be the site that has tripped. So quickly you can look here whether you're getting 240 power into the van, rather than having to put your dressing gown on and go and ask the warden. So that's in the control panel. On the side we have controls for lights, and then this here is your temperature sensor or your thermostat for the heating system, which we're going to come to. So heating system, again, all the details are in the book for this, but simply what I always want to do with this, or just as a little tip, is as soon as you get to site, I want you to hook up, turn your gas on, and then come into here and turn your heating onto electric, because you know you're hooked up, just so it doesn't get any error codes. You don't want to turn this on before you've either got gas on or hooked up. It's fine for the moment that I'm doing it, but you'll just end up getting some error codes. So basically we have a thermometer, which is our temperature. So we just click the button and then turn to what we want. And then to select, we then click, and that's got me on 20 degrees. We have hot water, off, eco, hot, and boost. So eco is 40 degrees, hot 70 degrees, and boost is 70 degrees. But it will take it away from the central heating and put it all into the hot water. So let's just make sure that's off. We then have the fuel that we're going to use. This vehicle will work on fuel, which is diesel heating. It'll also work on a mixture of 1 kilowatt electric and diesel, 2 kilowatt electric and diesel, or just electric on its own. And as you can see, as I change, the little symbols change here. So let's put it on. Well, we'll have to be on fuel at the minute, so because it'll just run off the diesel, because I've got no gas, obviously, which it won't run off, but I've got no electric hookup. And then the final one is for your fans, for how hard it blows through the fans. So, and then at the top level, tells me a quick indicator of what's happening. So it's got a flame which tells me that I'm heating the vehicle up. So there's a flashing flame is heating. When it goes solid, it means that I'm up to temperature. We then have it saying that it's on fuel, which is obviously the diesel, and it tells me I'm on low fans. It also tells me I'm not on hot water because there's no hot water symbol on the top. This button is for your timer, so you can have a start and finish timer, so you can turn it on in the morning. Then you have your clock and just some other settings. To turn this system off, all we do is push the button till it says off. Yeah, and again, full details can be found in the manual for this. So let's move to the front lounge area. Basically, for the table, we have a little handle which allows us to move the table. If we let go of the handle, it locks in that position. To drop the table, you lift this red handle up, push it down, and then release the red handle. This doesn't have the, as mentioned, the customer that's bought this vehicle, this doesn't have the option of the dinette to berth, but some solution can be made relatively simple by using either a piece of wood that sits on top of these to cover that area, and then just a simple piece of foam to fill the gap, or partly maybe using the cushions as well. Underneath this we have some storage, and underneath this seat you can't get to it because that is where your water tank is. There are some, again, more storage lockers all around this vehicle. There's a big roof light above the lounge, which has a winding handle to open. There's USB sockets here, a reading light, and some other LED lights that work by this little button here. So that's it for pretty much the habitation area. Let's now move to the final part, which is the cab. So we're moving out to the cab area. First of all, spinning the seats. So to spin them, all you'll do is turn the seats. If it does hit something, say it's hitting the table, either move the table or you can slide the seat forward using the slider. But we need to make sure that they are fully locked in before you travel. To release the chair to turn, all we do is pull that out and then it will allow it to release. So as you can see, I'm just hitting the door there, so I'm going to grab the slide the chair forward, and then that will allow me to turn it. And the same goes for the driver's seat as well. So let's just spin these seats back round. In terms of the van side of it, it's all relatively simple and we'll all be pretty familiar with this. But basically, to start it, we need a key in, and as it says there, we need to put foot on the clutch to start. That'll allow me to start the vehicle. As you notice here, we have our reverse camera. We can turn this off if we don't want it on, but if we're going to reverse, so if we're going to reverse, it automatically comes on. And it goes off if you go out of reverse. So I'm in reverse, goes off. But if I do just want it on, normally I can just power it on if I do want to see what's behind me when I'm in a forward gear. All the air conditioning is pretty self-explanatory, as is the radio. I can set your phone up for you when you're here if needed. Down here we have the lights, so we have off, side lights, dip beam. We have controls for the electric and heated mirrors, which are controlled there, and we also have the button to confirm for the alarm. The alarm sensors are here, and there's also probably an alarm sensor in the back as well. These buttons here for the cruise control and speed limiter. There are controls on the steering wheel for the radio. We have indicators on the left, along with obviously flashing for your main beam, and then we've got windscreen wipers on the right. The vehicle is fitted with Remis cab blinds that we just squeeze and they will slide across, and then magnet for privacy, and the ones for the front just squeeze together, and then a magnet in the middle. Just note as well, there is a storage cupboard above the dash, and to get access to that, you've got a little button here that you push. That releases this here. Oh, it's hard with one hand. That releases this another storage here, which has 12 volt and also an auxiliary cable should you want to plug your music into the music system, because there isn't a CD player. Very modern. So that's pretty much it for the walk round of the Chausson Welcome 727 GA. I hope the new customers enjoy this vehicle. It is a brilliant layout with a lovely high spec. And again, if you need any clarification on how anything works, do not hesitate to contact one of the team here at Emm-Bee. Thank you.